Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another episode of the Freshman 15 College Football Podcast, starting us off in the CFP. And here's the week that we've all been waiting for. The CFP opening round is right around the corner in a couple of days, and the most likely outcomes happen with JMU and Tulane crashing the party. Meanwhile, conference foes will clash in a rematch for who has the right to move on to the next round. And then also, as they say, styles make fights. So we'll see a lot of different teams with different philosophies coming together for a great slate of games on this week, all throughout the playoff. But before we move on to this week and break these games down in the CFP, let's talk about some announcements happening from last week. So, Tom Maduyo, what is up, man?
Not much. Like you said, this is the week for football. There's some good football games on. There's some ones that are probably some blowouts, maybe. We'll talk about that. But yeah, it's in the transfer portal's heating up. I think we're gonna talk about that too. So yeah, let's get this show rolling.
All right, man. So a couple of notes, man. Let's talk about the Heisman. So as expected, Fernando Mendoza wins the Heisman Award, and this is after he won pretty handily too. It looks like he had 2,362 points with 643 first place votes, and he won by more than 900 points to lap everybody there. No surprise, undefeated team in the Big Ten, your conference. Their first Big Ten title in 60 years, and he also takes home the Davey O'Brien Award as the nation's top quarterback, and this year set career highs in passing TDs and percentages as well. So, I'm sure he's cool with this, and they have their eyes set on a lot more, but he takes home the biggest award in the country, so that's a big milestone for this dude, coming from Cal last year.
Yeah, absolutely. It's amazing what Kurt Signetti did with that team. And you see Mendoza and the way he played in tough games, and hats off to him. You see a lot of people talking about the Heisman race, how they you compare like Joe Burrow's 2019 season where he had like 6,000 yards passing or something ridiculous, whatever it was, compared to Mendoza. I mean, but every year you're gonna have a down. I mean, every once in a while you're gonna have a down year for somebody. It just happens that this year's Heisman race is down, but who knows? Maybe next year we'll see like Messmaker in there or something. He's throwing for like 5,000 yards, but I guess we'll see that. But props off to Mendoza. He is deserving. I would like to see Jeremiah Love. Definitely not the other one that was making all kinds of headlines that weekend. So I'm not even gonna mention his name because he might like show up in my mirror or something in the middle of the night. But props off to Mendoza.
Yeah, I got no qualms about that. We've been spoiled pretty well too, man. If you think about it, like we've had Shador Sanders last year going head up, not Shador, pardon me, Travis Hunter going head up with our guy Genty. So it seems like every year we'll get spoiled every now and then, and you won't top it. You won't have a year where you have guys like the USC days. We had Bush, Leonard going to the Heisman announcement, or even if you think about years like where we had guys like Mendoza with just pure star power dominating the award. It's a little different this year, and I think it's just because of all the transition, right? And I think with the portal as well, you're going to see a lot of guys kind of come in, come out. Just part of the game, I think. And either way, I'm cool with it. I mean, I think he was the best player on the best team in the country as we came to find out. And I think it's fair for him. Props to him as well. No hate there. But speaking of quarterbacks, man, we got a lot of movement now with the portal being open. So the one big name I want you to discuss, I know who you're thinking about, but go ahead, shoot, man. Actually, you know what? Before we do that, let's talk about who's not going anywhere first.
Okay.
As we learned this week in a joint announcement with his dad, Cooper, Arch Manning will stay at Texas for another year, not going anywhere. You can kind of sense there's this unfinished business out there in Austin.
Yeah.
And I think he needed to stay. Had a bit of a shaky part of the season where we were kind of unsure about him a little bit. But then he kind of found those flashes again, like he did against A&M, where he started to look the part a little bit, got confident. Guy with a dual threat. I think he has the right brain, the right mindset, but he needs more experience. And I think coming back makes a lot of big sense for him. And I think not only does he need it as well, I think also so does Steve Sarkisian, because we had to start all over again. Texas loses a lot of momentum going to next year as well. So I think it's a good call for both sides, the quarterback and the coach, keeping the guy until, and the family too, just to be honest, because they don't want to go somewhere they don't want to be at, obviously.
Right. Yeah.
So I think it's a good call, man. Now for who is moving, let's talk about who you got moving.
Oh, I mean, there's a bunch of them. So Lagway decided he's going to move. Sam Levitt, he's leaving Arizona State. Dylan Raiola's leaving Nebraska. Aiden Childs is leaving Michigan State. Tavon Jackson's leaving UCF. Sorsby, I think is his name, he's leaving Cincinnati. It's a bunch of big names, and Sorsby is probably the best one out of all of them. But we know Messmaker, we can presume he's going to Oklahoma State with with his coach from North Texas. But some of these things where I think there might be a couple more that actually open up because I'm not sure what
Yeah,
Michigan's doing with their coach yet. And like if someone's going to try to lure Underwood away from that because yeah, I think
right, right,
he was a
right.
Sharon Moore guy. But yeah, it's very interesting. But Raiola is the big one for me. I think it's the big one for everybody.
Yeah,
Because
absolutely.
what's weird is like Matt Rule said, I'm not taking the Penn State job because of the promises I made to Dylan Raiola here in Nebraska, and then Raiola ups and leaves. Yeah, like we've talked about it. These players, they're not loyal to these colleges, obviously,
No,
especially with money hanging around now. Same thing with coaches, and like we everyone says like the only ones who are loyal to these schools are the fans anymore.
right.
Like you said, these guys come in and out, but I think Raiola, it just depends. I'm not sure where he ends up. Could he end up at Penn State with Matt Campbell? I don't know. It'd be a big time school for. I know it's like a lateral move for him, but
Right.
I think it's more prestigious school than what Nebraska is recently, I should say, because Nebraska is a blue blood college. But like recently, it would be Penn State over Nebraska. But it's definitely big time news because we don't know where exactly these guys are going to go because the guys who we mentioned, they're good quarterbacks, but
Mhm.
they're leaving programs who were like subpar. Coaches got fired and whatnot, especially like Lagway. He's a sophomore, but he's want big time money going somewhere. But it'd be very curious to see when this opens up in January on January 2nd, where these guys actually end up falling, because that's going to change the landscape of college football once again.
So I know that this is maybe a couple week old story talking about Troy Aikman and talking about he wrote a check to somebody for NIL and the guy bailed and we all kind of tied the lines back together to say okay, let's talk about Dante Moore at UCLA.
Okay.
And in Moore's case, I think it's a bit different, considering that Chip got fired, Chip moved on somewhere else, and that was that essentially. So it's different. I just think in this case with Rayola, he's going to go where the money is, right? So
Yeah,
I put
absolutely.
down in my notes that he's going to where, and I didn't realize this, but his godfather is Matt Stafford. So
Okay.
there's a lot of pro influence there with his dad obviously being an NFL player for so many years. Matt Stafford, you want to go to the best financial spot possible, which I understand that. I know we're not the biggest fans of him
Yeah.
as a player, but I think it just makes the most sense. I think LSU's a possibility if he wants to go with Lane Kiffin as well. Because the thing is, even though it's a blue blood team, they're not the class of the conference. Obviously, they haven't had substantial impact in the conference. Are we going back to Ndamukong Suh? Maybe.
hmm
So why not land at LSU or something like that? I just see something like that happening. I didn't know about Levitt making it official today, though. That's
Yeah. Yeah. I think that was.
where's he
I think
going?
like last week he said that like he was leaving. Yeah, he was entering the portal. Yeah.
Crazy,
But
crazy.
then we talk about the whole thing that happened with Utah earlier this week, where they signed with a private equity firm for $500 million. So I mean, that's changing the landscape for college football right there because I mean that you're talking about all kinds of money, all kinds of revenue, and then we've seen what Texas Tech did, how they basically bought a team this year, and like
Hmm.
look where
Yep.
they're at. And like you said, these players are going to go where the money's going because right now these players are probably making more than they're going to make on a rookie contract in the NFL. So,
Agreed, man.
you're good. Go get your bread while you can because NFL, your football career is short eventually, anyways, unless you're one of those lucky ones. But yeah, it's going to be very interesting here that within this next week and a half to figure out where some of these guys are going because we're going to hear it leak. But yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
for like official signing day. It would be really interesting to see right around New Year's, right around these bowl games, like especially like if Ole Miss would lose, like how many of those players actually go with, head over to
Makes sense.
LSU. So
Makes
that's some
sense.
stuff to watch this weekend as well.
Yeah, man. And so funny you should mention that. Perfect segue into this week's games, right? So we have those that don't know, we have these games. So the teams that made the auto bids are not playing at home. So we don't have JMU hosting, we're not Tulane hosting, they're going on the road. So even then, it's even more of a harder pass for them to do anything in the tournament because of not having home field advantage. So I kind of wanted to focus on our Saturday spotlight. There's games to choose from, and the one game I've kind of narrowed down on is a rematch of this season, and that being Oklahoma, Alabama. Was that your game as
Yeah,
well?
that's Friday night. Friday night at 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the Friday night game. Yep.
That's why we
I,
gotta get
I
the show
actually
out.
I just have it up right here. That's the one I was looking at.
So you know what, man? Take the lead for me then. Go ahead. You got this one.
Yeah, I mean, their Oklahoma's defense is so good, and we've
Mhm.
seen we just seen what Georgia did to Alabama's offense, and I would go on to say that
Got folded.
yeah, he got folded. I would go on to say that Venables, he runs a very good defense, obviously, and he had their number the first time, and then with that what Georgia exploited against against Alabama, Venables is
Hmm.
only going to take advantage of that, and the only thing that's going to stop them is Oklahoma's quarterback on the other side. Like Mateer, he started off hot this season, and he got hurt, and then kind of went downhill. But that defense is going to be their saving grace in this game. But that is the game to watch because I mean a lot of people would say that Alabama didn't even deserve to be in this position. If you're one of those, if you're one of those Notre Dame or Miami fans. But yeah,
Yeah.
so that's the game I'm watching, and I think it's the battle of the defenses, and I think Oklahoma will come out on top again. But they're only 1.5 point favorites at Oklahoma.
So here, this is why I'm in a kind of weird spot with this game because when I went back, this might have been a show we covered during the podcast too. I think I'm pretty sure that we did. And in the first meeting, I thought that Bama's offense was fairly productive, and you know how they can kind of careen off a cliff and not do much at all. But I thought they were fairly productive, but they couldn't avoid the big mistake. And the turning point for them was when Bun got the pick six, the long pick six. That turned out to be the only touchdown scored by Oklahoma that game, believe
Hmm.
it or not. And Mateer wasn't that great in that game either. I mean, he
Correct.
was okay, but he wasn't outstanding in that game. Whereas I thought that Simpson, and I don't like any of these quarterbacks necessarily, but I thought Simpson was the better of the two. Just made that one big mistake he couldn't, respond back from. All that being said, I just get the feeling that Alabama's going to pull it together.
All right, the other thing I would say is, are their running backs still hurt? I haven't looked. If their running backs are still hurt, I think that puts them in a world of trouble. And is Ryan Williams ever going to show up this year? Because he has not all year long.
It's
You know,
quiet.
so it depends on if those running backs show up, all three of them. Because I mean they're very good running backs, but you can't do much when they're sitting on the bench because they're hurt. So. And we
Yeah.
know Oklahoma has a defense that flies around to the ball. They're very good.
Mm-hmm.
They cover their space as well. They play very good, very physical coverage on the backside, and they can get to the quarterback. So, yeah, like you said, you think that Alabama can pull it together, but the Vegas obviously knows something. It's 1.5.
Yeah.
But I think I would say Oklahoma probably repeat just because their defense can be so dominant. And then you kind of see what Kirby Smart did to Alabama to hold them to
Mm-hmm.
-3 yards rushing, and then that just transfers over. I don't think Alabama's gonna have anything for them, but I could be wrong. But that's like we said, that's the game of the weekend. That's why.
Yeah. And I think for me, it's Jan Miller has not been very good. I've made light of this before and just saying that their running back stable is not the guys we used to see back in the day. There's no Najee Harris. There's no, Derrick
Yeah,
Henry,
yeah.
Mark Ingram. It's not the same thing. And Jan Miller, I believe, is going to play, and he's active, I believe. That being said, he's been one of the least efficient aspects of their whole offense. Ryan Williams too, he's in that conversation as well.
All right.
But I think you need to play these freshmen. I mean, you have these highly touted freshmen that you brought in. They have to play. You got to go by this committee. You have to change things up. And I think that if they can have a more diverse running scheme, whether you go inside zone, outside stretch runs, whatever, you got to change it up a little bit. I think that's what they need. For me, why the game's close and shot to Vegas as well, is because I don't see this team scoring a lot of points, either of them.
All right.
And that's kind of like my main concern. I think for Williams, he has to break through at some point. I think this is the week where he breaks through. But maybe like 78 catches, I'm sorry, 78 yards, 6 catches, something modest, but they need a lot more, obviously.
Yeah.
I just think it's going to be a really slow game, a lot of penalties, a lot of mistakes, turnovers, missed kicks. Which I think we had 3 missed kicks in the first game, too. So I think you'll expect to see a game where if the total points are over 40, I'll be stunned. I'll be very surprised. So I'm seeing a game more so of like, I know this is
17,
like the upset pick. Yeah,
17,
man.
13, something crazy.
So I wrote down 21-17.
Okay. Yeah. Right in the same ballpark.
ugly. Something like slow pace and ugly, man. I just don't see a lot happening with these teams. I mean, and whoever wins, guess what? You have a test the next week because I believe the winner takes on is it you guys
No,
or
we
Indiana.
get the winner of Miami, Texas A&M.
So all right, so surprise, surprise, you get to play Indiana.
Nah, is it? Is that the Indian?
I think it's Indiana.
Oh, I thought it was Georgia. Maybe I was
Georgia,
maybe
they
I'm
got a
wrong.
bye.
I don't know.
They got a bye. Well, let's fact check this
Yeah,
one. I
Georgia's
got
got
you
a
though.
bye. Yeah, they're at 3 right now. So while you're looking, I would say the Saturday games,
Yep,
you
Indiana.
know, Tulane, Old Miss, that's 17.5 points. James Madison, Oregon, that's 21.5 points. I don't think either of those teams stand a chance. If
Nah,
if you're gonna give it to one of those teams, uh, I would say Tulane just because we don't know what Ole Miss is going to do with their coach being gone and whatnot. But
these
the
changes.
Saturday game is definitely Miami, Texas A&M. Which Carson Beck's going to show up? So
Hmm.
I guess this could kind of be my upset pick too. I would say Miami beating Texas A&M because Texas A&M is three
Yeah.
and a half point favorites. Which Carson Beck's going to show up? And then their receivers are that freshman receiver. I can't even think of his name. He's so
Malachi
fast.
Tony.
Yeah, Tony. He's so fast. And then, but on the other side, Texas A&M, if the receivers are on point, they can catch the ball too. But that their quarterback
Hmm.
relies so much. Sorry, their offense relies so much on their quarterback.
Take
And
off and run.
Marcel Reed, he gives you he's like a sine wave from math class in seventh grade. But he's so up and down. But if especially those receivers like in the South Carolina game, they had like 8 or 9 drops in the first half, which was absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
if you're in your head that early against this Miami team, they're not gonna let off the gas, and once they go up, it's gonna be hard to come back on them. But yeah, that I think Miami can beat Texas A&M because
Hmm.
Texas. I think Texas A&M the back half of the schedule they were kind of exposed for what they really are. And Texas
Then
kind of put them
that's
on,
it.
yeah. So we've seen it with South Carolina. If if Beamer just puts together one drive in that second half, they lose that game. But Texas put them away, and then so I would say Miami beating Texas A&M. But that one has the ability
Mhm.
to be going like a complete opposite of what we talked about in the first part for the Friday
Oh
game. This
yeah.
one could
Oh
be like
yeah.
41-38, because both these teams can score if they're both on. So yeah, I would say Miami or Texas A&M.
That's what I'm feeling too. And I kind of went with that same game as well for my upset pick. And for Miami, it's just the way they've played the last couple weeks and just really the last since losing to SMU, honestly. Because when they lost to SMU, this was the day after Halloween.
Mm.
They've been in survival mode since then, of every game being a tight game or every game we have to win. And because of that pressure, they feel I think they're playing with house money this point because you also consider the indifference of we weren't supposed to be here, right?
Right.
Everyone was talking about everybody else, Notre Dame of the world, and in Texas maybe. So no one was thinking about us. And now that we're here and we've earned it, I think that confidence of we fought for the last 5 weeks and we're here, and they got us in. Plus, you think of that too. In this like winning streak to end the season, they have a differential of from their opponents plus 110. So that they're beating the doors off of their opponents every
Yeah.
single week they play. And that's due to Carson Beck as well, man. I mean, he's been pretty hot. And I think he has the experience of these atmospheres going back to Georgia. So
Yeah.
if he's ready to play, I think he'll do probably fare better than Marcel Reed. And by the way, for A&M, I think they missed their running back. They missed their running game that they had a couple years ago with Le'Veon Moss. It just has not been there for them.
Hmm.
So I think on the other side of the ball, you have Miami who can run the ball a little bit with Mark Fletcher. So if you can run the ball, you add Ruben Bain to the mix. You have a team that can rush the passer, that can run the football a little bit, has experience as you talked about before with Malachi Tony. It's just they've got enough moving parts that they can win this game. And I think they're getting hot at the right time. Now, what happens afterwards? Probably not so good. But I just think Miami makes the most sense, man. I got Miami this week, and I got Oklahoma going down.
Yeah, and like I said, I don't give the other two like the group of 5 schools much of a chance. But if any of the team's going to do it, I think it's to be Tulane. I don't think James Madison stands a chance at all. It's been fun while it lasted. I could be eating crow. It could be like, I mean, we could, if this happens, this is gonna be like the equivalent of like Appalachian State beating Michigan. Uh,
Oh
so this,
yeah.
I mean, Oregon will never be able to live this down if James Madison beats them. I mean, it'll be it'll be complete chaos on the internet. But out of those two teams, I think Tulane has the better chance to win over Ole Miss.
So when I would have given the chance to JMU, until I realized that how you build Oregon, and they're built inside, right? If you can dominate the interior as they do to a lot of teams in your conference, then that's going to be the key, right? If I can stack two huge guys in the middle over your center, over your guards, and just drive them backwards,
Yeah,
there's no competition there. Plus, I mean, they have a pretty good secondary as well. So, yeah, I mean, they're going to be heavily outclassed. So that's going to be that. Tulane, I didn't think about Tulane necessarily because of what you said, but yeah, if Ole Miss is a little bit distracted, if the coach is already looking the other way, or coach has already left the building and he's
yeah,
looking around where to go next, that has to translate to your players too, right? You would think players are
correct.
like, well, if he left, then win or lose, I don't really care. We out of here. And I think also that kind of, let's just say, for example, right? Let's say they lose. Everyone's gonna look back at Lane Kiffin leaving, right? Obviously. So here now we're into our runoff segment of the show. If they lose this game, you always tie it back to Lane Kiffin. Going forward, when this happens, hey, is this team worthy of the CFP? Their coach was left, by the way. I gotta say this, man. If you can punish Florida State for not having their quarterback after they got hurt and went undefeated and not made the CFP, I think coach is probably more important. Just
Yeah.
throwing that out there. So go figure on that one.
Yeah, especially like you said, especially if they lose. I mean, it's going to be all kinds of like ramifications for next year. But Lane Kiffin, obviously, he's like a unique individual. I don't think
Mm,
I don't think we'll see a coach leaving a playoff team anytime soon again. He's just a weird guy. Puts his teams in weird situations all the time, and obviously, this isn't the first time he's done it. He did it at Tennessee. Did it at USC, weird stuff at USC, and then even in the NFL. But I think that was a unique situation. But I mean, it still sets a precedent for the committee to look at in future years if it ever happens again.
yeah. Now, one thing. So I want to look ahead real fast, right? So, assuming what we know, what we suspect to have happen and take place, how would you feel in a case like this where Ole Miss wins? Obviously, right? So you have Ole Miss in Georgia, and I know we'll circle back on this next week, but what you likely would have happen is Oregon would advance against Texas Tech, which I think that's by far going to be our game of the week right
Yeah,
there
that's a
because
good game.
it's the money just coming together.
Yeah,
Um,
we get to see Rodriguez actually go up against a good offense for once. That
so that's going to
linebacker.
run the football right at him too.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Because
So you have
Whittington's no
that.
joke. Yeah, Whittington is no joke.
You have him and Lamar together. That's
Yeah,
pretty solid. Also, then you would have Oklahoma and Indiana. I don't know if Indiana gets snuck in a situation like that with Bama and Oklahoma. I think they're pretty solid. Just from what we've seen, they're pretty good.
hmm
Now that would be huge if that were to happen. And then we
yeah.
have Georgia and Ole Miss. I think if Ole Miss can win that game, you got a barn burner right there too with Georgia. I'm pretty sure. And then you have you guys versus
Miami.
A&M, Miami, probably Miami.
I say Miami.
Uh, I don't see. I don't think anyone's stopping you guys in the second round. So I think that's kind of. I'm just projecting here, but you guys probably advance. Ole Miss. You mean Georgia? We're gonna talk about this multiple times between now and then, but
Yeah,
Ole Miss, Georgia. I think your final few, man. If I had to look at this, I would say you get Oregon getting past Texas Tech. Just being real, Oregon gets past them.
yeah.
Indiana.
Indiana,
You
Georgia, Ohio
guys,
State.
yeah, yeah. It's gonna be great, man. Only because I know how much you love Kirby Smart.
Yeah, Ryan Day will get retribution for fielding missing a field goal a couple years ago. Was CJ was it CJ Stroud there? Yeah,
Yeah,
when he
yeah.
he shanked that 51 yarder that would have won him the game. So rematch him a couple years ago.
Was that Gunnar Stockton? It sure was Gunnar Stockton, wasn't it?
No, it wasn't Gunnar Stockton. I think no. What? He plays for the Rams. Stetson Bennett. Yeah, that
Stetson
guy.
Bennett. Oh
Yeah,
my goodness, that's right.
yeah. It
That's
was
right.
that game because he was over there sweating bricks, and then you know missed a field goal just like we did against Indiana's. Same kicker. It's crazy because they said like 37% of Ryan Day's losses have come from the foot of fielding. it's, it's absolutely ridiculous.
Yo. And someone will draft the fight in the third round, so go figure.
Yeah. So
Um,
yeah.
but all right, my dude, man. Other than that, man, any last loss you had?
No, what were there was Friday games on. So I can't believe that the
Hmm?
Bears Packers is on the same I guess Bears
Saturday.
Packers is on Saturday night, but it's the same
Saturday.
times as the James Madison Oregon. So I guess it really doesn't matter. But yeah, there's bowl games on Friday night. If you're feeling some Kennesaw State versus Western Michigan too, that'd be a good game as well.
We got those. And I think there's two NFL games happening as well. So you have the Ventures Bowl with Delaware beating the doors off of Louisiana. Well, I mean, two-score game, put it that way. Um, I think we have two NFL games. I think we have the Bears and the Eagles on Saturday, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, they play at
Pretty
5.
sure.
Eagles Commanders are at 5. So that's the same time the back half of Tulane Ole Miss. So they're not taking away from the Miami Texas A&M game, so that's good. That's
Yeah,
probably why,
not.
we said like why are these games all messed up? Why are they on the weird schedule? That's probably why, because the NFL has infiltrated Saturdays already. So
Oh yeah, man. Look, the NFL has no etiquette anymore. NFL used to let Christmas be for the NBA. That's gone.
Yeah.
That's gone, man. NFL's taking over, man.
Yeah.
But so you guys have as well, man. For those watching, make sure you hit the like button, sub button. You know where to find us on YouTube, Twitter, wherever. At SEQ Flight Crew, at Cryptic Ghost 2. Other than that, guys, thank you for watching the Freshman 15 podcast. Peace.
Peace.